And joining us for our roundtable tonight is former Governor Charlie Crist, who is now running for Congress here in Pinellas County, and Mitch Perry of St. Petersburg. Thank you both for joining us. Governor, just the first trip of Hillary Clinton since winning the party's nomination and accepting the nomination, only about a week later, it kind of underscores as if we didn't know that the importance of this area.
No question about it. I mean, people talk about presidential elections, they always talk about Florida, Florida, Florida. And then they talk about the I-4 corridor. And as Mitch will tell you, St. Petersburg, Pinellas County is basically the anchor of I-4. So I think we're going to see a lot of both Secretary Clinton and the vice presidential nominee, Tim Kaine. And of course, we'll see the Republicans here too. It's just too important.
Mitch, what does Hillary Clinton have to do right now? Because, the old saying goes, if your opponent is on fire, stay quiet, or keep out of the way.
Well, I think it's what she's doing today, and she did today in St. Petersburg, and that is to make a positive agenda for why people should vote for her. We've seen the ads by her and her super PACs against Donald Trump are flooding the airwaves, and Trump is like helping Clinton every day by what he says, right? So, but I think that she's still got to make the sale here, and she's still got a lot of undecided voters who are really suspicious of Trump Republicans, which she's really trying to appeal to right now. But she's got to continue to make the platform. What happens if she's elected as governor in January? It's enough that she's not Donald Trump. What will Hillary Clinton presidency be? She's got to continue to make that case for her, a positive case agenda for her.
And Governor, what are we supposed to make of the volatility in the polls? Secretary Clinton was leading, then Trump caught up. Now, here in Florida, Secretary Clinton has pulled out again to a lead. It's by no means safe, is it?
No, of course not. There's never been an election year quite like this one, at least not that I've witnessed, and probably most of your viewers. But I think things are going to ebb and flow as they usually do in campaigns. But I think as more time passes and the candidates speak out about programs they support and they want to back, I think it's only going to be better for Hillary Clinton more and more going forward.
Let me ask you this, because obviously you're concerned about your race, and I'm sure that you poll all the time, but what is that polling showing about Secretary Clinton's strength in your congressional district and this general area?
Well, she's doing very well in Pinellas County, I can tell you that. She certainly is up in the polls in the latest polling that we've seen. I'm encouraged by that, not only for our race, but frankly for our country. This is a bellwether, there's no question about that. And I think the better she does here, the better she'll do nationwide.
Obviously you're in this race because the district itself is much more winnable, but the question has been raised about whether she is going to have coattails and bring congressional candidates or state Senate races, state House races along with her.
I believe that she will, and as I say, I think as more time passes, her seasoned record, her level of experience, her stability are going to be more and more important factors as we get into the fall part of the election. I think she's going to have nice coattails.
Well, I was going to say, Alan, that one thing we should note, though, is that there was a series of battleground state polls that came out last week, and she's doing extremely well in New Hampshire and Pennsylvania, but in Florida it was only 6 points, actually. So, which is kind of interesting, because it just tells you that even though, she's on the ascendance, she's not dominating here. And again, it's super early, but I think Florida, as we've historically seen, losing a very close election 2 years ago to Rick Scott, that it's always close in Florida. When is it not close, right? I mean, 4 years ago, Barack Obama was named won Florida 4 days later, because it took that long to count the votes. But I mean, so I think that, again, like you say, we're going to continue to see these candidates here, because I don't see her really pushing out yet that she's got a dominant advantage in Florida. It's going to be a lot of work to do right now before we see anything different here.
Doesn't that underscore the importance of the ground game? What are you seeing, Mitch, right now in terms of the strength of the Secretary's ground game in comparison to Donald Trump's?
Well, what we've been saying for a while was that where is the Donald Trump ground game? I think there's going to happen, because the Republican Party of Florida, again, as Charlie knows, is incredibly organized. They're one of the best state parties in the country. They're going to get on the ground and work for Trump. I don't think that's fully coordinated yet, but I think that's going to happen. No, right now, Secretary Clinton has a huge advantage. She's got offices all over the state. Her headquarters, of course, are in Ybor City, exemplifying that they want to use the I-4 corridor to be their headquarters here. So right now, edge Clinton, but too early to say that's going to be the deciding factor.
And Governor, let's talk about the issues for the moment. Not only for the area that we're in Pinellas County, but the Sun Coast, the I-4 corridor, there are still people who, even though the economy is improving, are not benefiting from it. So what do you tell voters out there?
Well, that there is a platform in this election that really supports them, that supports income being equal work for equal pay. which Hillary stands for very strongly, and so do I. Making sure that we raise the minimum wage so that those people in the middle class that are getting squeezed the most have an opportunity to a brighter future. These are things that are going to be very important going forward. The economy is a huge issue, as it always is and should be, and I think Hillary's position is the best.
Let me ask you this, because obviously you ran as a Republican, you ran as a Democrat, so you have a good read on voters on both sides of this issue. Obviously, Mr. Trump has not had the best week, but still you hear a lot of lingering questions from voters concerning Hillary Clinton's honesty, what happened with the FBI and the emails. What are you hearing? What are people asking you?
Well, what they're asking me is, what is Donald Trump saying, and why is he saying it? You know, whether you're talking about the Muslim situation and the Khan family, unbelievable comments. You know, you talk about his comments about women, shocking, disturbing. It basically comes down to a decency toward other people, a decorum that you want of a presidential candidate and potential president, that you want somebody that is stable, that is respectful, that does unto others.
Mitch, what are you hearing from?
Well, what I think is interesting about Hillary Clinton is that she's taking some of the ideas of Bernie Sanders, right? And we know that she wants to bring the Bernie Sanders voters in, and yet she's also appealing to Republicans right now, saying, you know, Donald Trump is wacko, you know, come with us, you know, and try not to be critical towards Republicans. I don't know how she's going to continue to balance that as the campaign continues, because a lot of the energy of the party is with the Sanders people. You know, we were all at the convention like 2 weeks ago, and you know, the energy, I mean, obviously Hillary had more delegates there, but the Bernie Sanders delegates energy was tremendous. And again, whether it's tuition-free college or people making less than $112,000 a year or $15 minimum wage, those are Bernie Sanders ideas. And she wants to appeal to those people and also bring Republicans in. It's not going to be an easy balance there.
All right, we'll have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Good
and
to
we'll
see
be
you.
back in just a moment.